Welcome to section 1.8. This is the 8th session of the ISACA CSAR exam prep series. In this session, we'll cover audit data analytics. We'll answer several questions. How does analytics power an audit? What are computer-assisted audit techniques? What's the difference between continuous auditing and monitoring? And how is artificial intelligence reshaping the work? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because manual testing can't keep up with modern data volumes. Imagine auditing a ride-sharing company. Millions of trips and payments flow every day. Sampling a handful tells you very little. Analytics lets you test the entire data set at once. That's how you catch the anomaly hiding in the crowd. So how does analytics power an audit? It lets you analyze full data sets, not just samples. You hunt for abnormalities and variances. You use them to spot and evaluate risk. What can you actually do with it? Test how effective the control environment is. Check whether anti-fraud controls are working. Spot process errors and inefficiencies. Find unusual rules, exceptions, and outright fraud. Flag areas of poor data quality, and run a risk assessment during planning. How do you collect and analyze the data? Follow a disciplined process. First, set the scope. Define your objectives and your data needs. Second, identify and obtain the data. Request it, test a sample, then extract it. Third, validate the data. Confirm it's sufficient and reliable for your tests. Reconcile it to control totals. Check the fields and the time period. Then come the final steps. Fourth, execute the tests by running your scripts. Fifth, document the results and conclusions. Sixth, review them with a qualified person. Seventh, retain the key elements. Things like your scripts, macros, and data files. Where does analytics fit in the audit? It works in both planning and fieldwork. You can match logical access to human resources records. You can compare entry and exit logs to catch tailgating. And you can test separation of duties at scale. What are computer-assisted audit techniques? Let's call them audit tools for short. These are software tools for gathering and analyzing data. When systems use different formats, manual collection is nearly impossible. These tools let you gather information independently. They boost the reliability of your findings. What kinds of tools are there? The big one is generalized audit software. It reads data straight from many platforms and formats. It gives you an independent way to access and analyze data. It handles file access and reorganization. It does data selection and statistical functions. Sampling, stratification, and frequency analysis. There are other tools too. Utility software gives evidence about control effectiveness. Test data checks a program for logic errors. You feed in a sample set and see if the logic holds. An audit expert system guides auditors of all levels. It's built on the knowledge of senior auditors. How do you decide whether to use these tools? Weigh the costs against the benefits first. Consider ease of use and training needs. Consider coding complexity and flexibility. Consider the effort to bring source data in and the reliability and confidentiality involved. What about protecting the data itself? Always request read-only access to production data. Do any manipulation on copies in a controlled space. That insulates the live systems from harm. And document your tools tied back to the audit program. This leads to a powerful idea. What is continuous auditing? It monitors system reliability on an ongoing basis. It gathers evidence through the computer. Its hallmark is the short gap between event and reporting. How does it differ from continuous monitoring? This distinction matters a lot. Continuous auditing is something the auditor performs. It reports on the subject in near real time. Continuous monitoring is something the organization performs. It watches the performance of processes and systems. Real-time antivirus is a monitoring example. How do the two work together? Auditing should stay independent of monitoring. When both run, you get continuous assurance. Often the audit team hands its techniques to the business. The business then runs the monitoring day to day. But monitoring can never replace the audit function. It lacks the independence that audit provides. What techniques make continuous auditing work? There are 5 automated approaches to know. The first is the audit review file with embedded modules. You embed audit software inside the application. It monitors transactions on a selective basis. The second is snapshots. You take pictures of a transaction's path through processing. You tag the data and record what happens for later review. The third is audit hooks. You embed flags inside the application. They trigger early before a problem grows out of hand. The fourth is the integrated test facility. You set up dummy entities in the production files. You run test transactions alongside the live ones, then compare the output to independently calculated results. The fifth is continuous and intermittent simulation. The system simulates the application as transactions run. It audits only the transactions that meet your criteria. Which technique should you pick? It depends on complexity and your needs. The embedded module suits non-stop processing. Snapshots suit when you need an audit trail. Hooks suit examining only select transactions. And remember, these tools give only limited assurance. They are not a cure for every control problem. Now let's turn to artificial intelligence. How is it reshaping audit? It's already automating many business tasks, detecting fraud, checking data quality, screening for bad news. For auditors, it brings 2 big wins. It increases efficiency by automating tedious work, and it can reduce audit risk. You can test bigger samples and analyze deeper. Where does it fit across the audit lifecycle? In setup, it pre-selects audit candidates. In planning, it models risk and dependencies. In fieldwork, it automates testing and data analysis. In reporting, it summarizes findings and visualizes data. What should you understand about algorithms? They sound intimidating, but the idea is simple. An algorithm is just a way to solve a problem. A baby's rule could be, if hungry, then cry. Audits work the same way. You compare a current state to a desired state. The algorithm gathers both, compares them, and judges the gap. Not all algorithms are equal. Some fit a problem better than others. Humans design them, so review and adapt them as needs change. Which techniques help in auditing? Document classification sorts text by topic. Text summarization drafts a natural language summary. Topic analysis links related documents. Search and retrieval finds relevant past reports. And sentiment analysis surfaces key issues and risk. How should you treat the results? A person must always interpret them in the end. Validate the data inputs at the start and periodically. Garbage data makes the tool useless. Make sure results are statistically significant. And make sure conclusions rest on real information. What risks are unique to these tools? Inadequate testing produces questionable outcomes, so back the machine up with human-led testing. Training data must be correct and cover unusual cases. Resist the pull to simply trust the machine. And remember, tools built by humans inherit human bias. So let's bring it together. Analytics tests full datasets to find what sampling misses. Audit tools gather and analyze data independently. Continuous auditing is yours, continuous monitoring is the organization's. 5 embedded techniques power real-time auditing. And artificial intelligence boosts efficiency, but always needs human judgment. Master these, and you'll audit at the speed of the business. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on rucloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.